Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been just trying to do my year-end wrap-up, trying to get in all my last-minute reviews. They might not all be as in-depth as this one will be, just because it requires a lot of time, and as you know, is the 16th as of recording this, so it is getting down to crunch time, and I'm hoping to have a completed list. But the reason why I'm doing more of a full review of this one is because Bilmuri is releasing a record today. If you haven't checked it out, Rich Sips, go give it a listen. I'm excited to listen to it. I'm excited to do another review of it, so you will see a literal double up of Bilmuri here. I also did an interview with him not too long ago, and I also did a live set not too long ago as well of his show when he came through Philly. So gotta show the boy some love. So I'm definitely doing tonight's review of Bilmuri's newest record, Wet Milk.
I've had enough of always feeling like I'm drowning. I've had enough.
So as I had mentioned, I'm a Bilmuri stan, love the guy. I've always been a big fan of Attack Attack and what he did in that, and I loved what he did in the March Ahead as well. And, you know, obviously the continuation of his brand, Bilmuri. So I had to do a review of this one just because for some reason I never got around to doing it, and I really wanted to, and I kept procrastinating to do it. And I knew that he has this new record that's coming out, Rich Sips. So to complete the Bilmuri Collection of reviews, I decided to do this one last minute, along with his newest record, Rich Sips, coming out this week. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then fish out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Life is Good. Love this sort of nature aesthetic at the beginning. I feel like he's always got like the best ways of integrating sort of electronics and like really different stuff that you don't really expect from, you know, that his type of music, and just the way that everything occurs in it is just really great. I think it's really crucial for those Bilmuri tracks to just hit when they had that really cool like atmospheric effect to what he's got going on. Like, I don't know, he creates these really awesome aesthetics, and I appreciate it as a reviewer, just coming into each record in a different way. I think he always has a way of keeping it fresh all the time. But once that chorus hits, I feel like the song really kind of sets off. One of the biggest things that I thought that I hadn't listened to like as in-depthly, but as I was listening to it now to do the review, and how I've been listening to it probably for the past couple months, many months since it's been out. It came out earlier this year, and I just noticed this, but he has this almost like subtle falsetto-y sort of part in the verses of this song that I didn't really pick out, but as I was listening intently to it, it was something that I noticed, and it was so tight. So, man, he was hitting them notes, and I wasn't really expecting it, but it really worked out. However, I'd say probably the biggest MVP of the song, and what I think it is that like flute melody he's got going on. I don't know, for some reason every time I come back to this song, that's what I think of when I'm listening to that song, is that real like boo 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 boo, like that real fluty melody. Great stuff. And I just love how this one just has this really like feel good like drive, like almost like if you're driving in a car, you want to take a road trip. That's one of those songs, and really dig that. As well as shout outs to Dan, Paul's brother from Whalebones, my boys. His brother plays saxophone, and he did the solo at the 2 minute mark, even to the 2 minutes and 20-second mark. Check that out. I'm glad they got him on a track, because that sax solo, primo stuff. Loved it. Definitely one of those things that is just super tight about this song. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is My Feelings Have Feelings. This one grooves. I love the way that he's got this like vibe about him, including like, and we talked about in the interview, just the way that he kind of incorporates like almost like indie rock, kind of shoegazy sort of stuff with like lo-fi hip hop and like lo-fi beats and that sort of stuff. And just the way that he kind of meshes those two genres into one thing, it just really creates an awesome aesthetic. He even has like a little bit of indie flair here and there too as well. So a lot of the bands that he pulls from, I feel like you can hear it, like Turnstile, I think he mentioned as one of his influences, and you can just hear it in that like really kind of almost shoegazy aesthetic that he brings to some of his songs. I would say more so earlier on, I think with albums like Frame and like some songs in Letters, I think have more of that sort of shoegazy sort of vibe. There's also some stuff in like Solid Chub as well that have that like aesthetic to it, but overall really like that. And I think paired with Johnny's kind of gritty tonality of his voice, I think it just cuts through the mix super well. And as a song, I think it's composed super well too. If you haven't seen the music video, I highly recommend it. It is hilarious. It's one of those like aesthetically throwback records that I feel like a lot of people, I wouldn't say slept on necessarily, but just is one that I feel like you gotta see to believe. But the little breakdown at the end, at the 1 minute and 58-second mark to the end, harken back to his old days of an Attack. It just feels that way, even though it's more like kind of like indie-ish in the way that like his guitar tone is. It feels more along that lines, but also feels like a breakdown at the same time. So I love how he kind of like rides that line of both of those things and incorporates it into his music. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Holy Crud. The chorus is an absolute just like earworm. I love it. It's every time I come back to this song, that chorus comes in. Even as I'm doing this review, I can hear that chorus and those lyrics pacing through my head right now, and I know I want to say it, but I can't because your boy ain't gonna try to get demonetized on YouTube. But that is beside the point. I think it leans definitely more towards his beats and the more electronic aesthetic to what he does. But I think he utilizes it in the best way, and like I had mentioned before in My Feelings Have Feelings, he's able to kind of jump those genre gaps really well and just kind of find a nice middle ground where he has those moments of kind of more indie-ish stuff, but he also plays off of more of that sort of hip-hop like lo-fi beats kind of vibe of his music. And I definitely feel like he excels at both of those things. I think at some points in some songs they definitely feel a little bit more collected, but overall really like the aesthetic of that track. I think it works out really well. And we're going to move into track number 4, which is I Love Beer. This one is a bit of a slower one, which I dig because I guess it's kind of halfway between the record. But it's definitely one of those more emotional, softer songs. I imagine this song is a little bit more relating to like, his love life now, and just I think the lyrical backing behind it can definitely represent that for sure. And just, as he's being a married man, it's really cool to hear that. And I also feel like it harkens back to some of his like more softer material. I'd say like a lot of songs off Taco have that sort of softer, like more emotional, more emo sort of side of stuff. And even songs on like Frame and Letters even a little bit have that sort of softer vibe. I know he's kind of carried it throughout his records, but I would say primarily a lot of the songs that feel a little bit more on the softer side come from like Taco and Letters, I personally think. So just to name a few, I know that again he has a smattering of those things throughout his many records so far, but as opposed, getting back to more based off of the song, I think his vocals are really solid in this one. You're able to kind of hear him at his like most natural state as a vocalist. It's not like it's being processed or anything, or there's no like effects to it, or I just feel like it's the most, it's within an nth degree of basically hearing him do it live. So I think that's really a cool aesthetic approach, and I know that he has done it in the past with other songs, but this was executed super well. So we're going to move it on to track number 5, which is my top 10 most brutal breakdowns of 2047. I thought for sure I was going to screw that up, but I didn't, so awesome on me. But getting back to this track, this one has the energy, which I love, and is definitely one of the heavier tracks off this record. If you would consider any of these to be, I guess, remotely heavy, I would say this one feels the most heavy. It also, in my opinion, has the best balance of why I like and why I think Bilmuri track is, some of the best tracks that he's written on this so far on this EP, is just because he's able to balance those sort of heavyish, more rock moments with like a good beat or like some good like electronic melodies or a good beat and electronic melodies. It's just the way that he's able to find almost like a pachinko machine of like this works, this works, this works, and it just hits kind of like the jackpot on how all those sorts of things arrange in a song and how they don't kind of like overlap each other, where it just seems like, you could definitely go way overboard and it could be like super over the top, and then there's some songs where he definitely like reserves himself and it's a little bit maybe more electronic focused, or maybe it's more like guitar and like natural instrument focused. But overall, definitely a great track, and I love this sort of pseudo breakdown at the 2 minutes and 35-second mark to the end. It's kind of like very like in the background, but it really works with this sort of, again, I keep saying aesthetic a lot, but it really works with the vibe of the song, and definitely dig it. Primo stuff there. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Spaces Between Letters Are Cool. I also for sure was going to mess that up, but I didn't, so good on me as well. But overall, as the song, I think the textures in this track are some of the best stuff that he has written, and I know that I'm kind of, again, being a fanboy a little bit, but just the way that he's been able to write and the way that I've been able to kind of sit on this record for a good decent amount of time now, I feel like I've been able to kind of really narrow down my thoughts on how I feel about these songs, and I think these have been some of the structurally his best work to date. Just the way that, again, he's able to have those moments of heavy, those indie-ish moments, those sort of electronic moments, and those kind of spaces in between, no pun intended, in the not only the EPs, not only this EP, but maybe to future EPs and stuff like that. He's able to kind of collectively take that sound and still push it forward and make it interesting every time he does something different. So structurally, I think this is one of the best tracks off the EP/record for sure. And again, while it's not maybe like crazy like technical, I just think that the way that he's able to concoct a melody is just so above a lot of bands now, and just the way that he has these earworm effects to how he's been able to like write lyrics or like a certain like melody or something, that it's just super awesome. And I definitely like this track a lot if I haven't already spoken about it enough. And so we're going to move into the last track number 7, which is You're Amazing and I Love You, which is true. But getting back to this song, I really dig the sort of like detuned guitar intro. It almost feels like it has like, again, a chorusy sort of effect, or if it is in fact detuned. Really like that aesthetic. I love when he plays with different effects, not only the guitar but vocally too. I think it really makes a unique product, and the song's memorable in that sense. But about this song, I think it's definitely on the slower side. It's probably my least favorite track off the record, despite it being slow and having this really kind of like ethereal ambient aesthetic to it. I think in terms of the other songs that are out, I mean, on the EP/record, I think this one is the weakest link, which is a little bit unfortunate considering it's the last track. But I don't have a lot of hate for it. I still think it's a great track, and I think obviously in the context of the record it fits very well, just to kind of like wind people down and get people started for Life Is Good Again when the album repeats. But overall, definitely dig this track. If you haven't listened to one, go listen to the whole dang thing. Really tight. So as you know, I love this guy. I really don't have any pros or cons. I really feel like he's doing his thing, and it's just I may have not liked, I think Taco was my least favorite out of all the records, but after he followed Banana up, it was Taco and then it was Wet Milk, I believe. So I think he just did a really great follow up. Taco was still really good, and I think it's, as I've gone back and listened to all of the records in succession, I don't think Taco is really necessarily as bad as I made it out to be when I originally did the review for it. But I think all of his records, Wet Milk, Banana, Solid Chub, Letters, Frame, Taco, I think they're all fantastic in their own right, and they are all kind of like snapshots of like how his progression as an artist has grown. And just it's really cool to see an artist put out literally 2 records a year and for them to be very aesthetically different. I hope that Rich Sips brings some new aspects to the table. I haven't listened to it yet, but as soon as this is done editing and I post it up to YouTube, you bet your ass I'm going to be listening to Rich Sips without a doubt. So my overall rating for Bilmuri's Wet Milk, I'm going to be giving it a 9.7 out of 10. One of the best of the year, without a doubt. I hope Rich Sips is right up there. It doesn't have as much time as Wet Milk has had to kind of percolate, but I think I usually have a pretty good feeling of when a record's going to be good or not. But I know this record's old, but if you haven't checked it out, check it out and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I'd love to know if you agree with me, if you disagree, if you're excited for Rich Sips. Be on the lookout for a new review of that, hopefully by the end of this week. I hope to have something out maybe Thursday or Friday. Can't really promise anything, but I'm hoping to get it out at that time. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure to share it, like it, subscribe. I know I basically fanboyed about Bilmuri for the past 16 minutes, but I think he's a great artist. I'm a Bilmuri stan, and I think that he's really putting out some unique content, not only for this year, but has been putting out unique content. So, gotta show the kids some love, and just want to thank him for coming on and doing the interview, a couple months ago. It was seriously a bucket list thing for me, and to have that be off my bucket list is such a cool feeling, and I can't help but thank you guys enough for the support, the love. And if you enjoy us, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that like, share it. It goes a long way. Follow us on social media. Links are above. If you can check them out, that would be awesome, and I would greatly appreciate it. Top 10 albums of the decade coming out very soon. Top albums of the year coming out. Top EPs of the year coming out, and I'm thinking about maybe doing some like anticipated stuff for 2020, so ring it down in the comments if you're interested in any of those things. But like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.